So I didn't know if Punch Imlach was ever diagnosed with a mental illness. Was he just a complete asshole at times? Was he bipolar the way he treated Frank Mahovlich? He treated players like dogs. He was always involved in crazy shit. But I think if any person that never heard of Punch Imlach before today, if I'm going to listen to this podcast, you tell me if this guy wasn't self-centered in a lot of ways or thought other people were stupid. You want to get me mad, you think I'm stupid. That's another story for another day. Now, it all comes down to the 1971 NHL Intra-League draft. Now, the Intra-League draft, as a lot of people know, it's an open system where unprotected players can be drafted at a cost. Now, that year's draft was more well-known for the antics of Imlach than the transactions themselves. Punch was part of the Toronto Maple Leafs for a number of years before he moved on to guide or head the Buffalo Sabres in the expansion year. Now, the draft was held on June 8th of that year. Each team protected 18 skaters and 2 goalies. When a goalie was lost, another could be added to the protected list as a fill-in. Now, the draft price was $40,000. Now, players could claim a player or cash. Now, in the first round, Wayne Carleton was taken by the California Gold Seals by the Bruins. Al Smith taken by the Red Wings from the Penguins. Dennis Kearns, a big pickup for Vancouver from the Chicago Blackhawks. Dave Burrows, picked up from Chicago by Pittsburgh. And Ray McKay, picked up by Buffalo from the Blackhawks. Now, Gary Edwards was taken from the Sabres by the Kings. Larry Brown, Flyers from the Rangers. Donnie Marshall, Toronto from Buffalo. And Mike Pedizzolo from the Rangers for St. Louis. Now, other players taken, Timmy Horton was taken by Pittsburgh in round 2, 12th overall. Rennie Robert was taken from the Maple Leafs with the Sabres. Stan Gilbertson taken by California from Boston. And Ray Como, Hugh Harris, and Brian Lavender were taken respectively from Montreal by Vancouver, Buffalo, and Minnesota. Now, here's the weird thing. Rennie Robert got drafted a second time after Pittsburgh took him from Buffalo. Now, very, very bizarre. Now, here it gets completely and utterly bizarre. Now, after goalies Al Smith and Gary Edwards were drafted, the Penguins and Sabres filled in their protected list with Paul Hoganson and Rocky Fowler, respectively. Now, the Sabres had no problem bending the rules a bit to get what they wanted. There was nothing that said a team couldn't draft one of its own unprotected players. Punch Imlach used veteran and very talented 35-year-old Reg Fleming, who because of his age and his salary was not likely to be picked by another team anyway, as a pawn. Fleming was drafted and dropped 9 times in the draft. And in the process, the Sabres acquired 4 players well after the rest of the teams were done drafting. As Imlach drafted a player from another team, he dropped Fleming, who wasn't claimed, and then reclaimed him in the next round by dropping the player he just drafted. If the drafted player was claimed by another team, the Sabres didn't really stand to lose anything. To get the $40,000 back from having drafted the player in the first place, and they were right back where they started. Now, if they lost Fleming to another team, so what? He was 35. He never played another game in the NHL after this anyway. Now, Rennie Robert, the big star for Buffalo, was drafted from the Maple Leafs by the Sabres in the second round, but was lost to the Penguins in the fourth round as Punch Imlach was reshuffling his list of players. Imlach wanted to have Robert in his team, but then he ended up having to trade Eddie Shack to the Penguins in 1972 to finally get him. But let's look at the Reggie Fleming craziness here. Now, Reggie was taken by Buffalo from Buffalo in the 5th round. Hugh Harris was left unprotected. Then Danny Austin was taken from the Stars by Buffalo, and Reggie left unprotected. Then the next round, Buffalo took Reggie Fleming and put Dick Duff up on the block again. In the 8th round, the Sabres took Rod Zane from Pittsburgh. They put up Fleming again. Then the 9th round, Reggie was taken by Buffalo from Buffalo, and Rod Zane was put up. Then round 10, Tommy Miller was taken by the Sabres from Detroit. Reggie was put up. Then Reggie was taken by Buffalo. Tom Miller was put up. Then Ken Murray was taken by the Maple Leafs in the next round, round 12, and the last round, Reggie Fleming was taken by the Sabres from the Sabres for Ken Murray. So, totally bizarre. Now, so Reg Fleming was picked and dropped in rounds 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So, again, just to recap, he was drafted and dropped 9 times in total. Now, what did the Sabres benefit from this? Well, eventually, not too much. There wasn't much in this draft, although Gary Edwards moving to LA really solidified that team's backup, and Wayne Carleton going to California, kind of a bummer for a lot of fans of Wayne Carleton, who was a big big guy in Boston, especially in the 1970 Stanley Cup run. So again, Reggie Fleming, when he wanted him, they used him here. I don't know if Reggie Fleming ever talked about that, but check out another podcast about Reggie Fleming I did here, especially his incident involving certain of the original 6 teams. Pretty freaky. Anyway, this is our latest in our draft podcast. If you like what we're doing here, give us a like, comment, or subscribe. Bye.